Okay, ladies and gentlemen, look at today's lesson. You guys did a lot of the legwork already through the Inspire activity. Although I'm really disappointed in a couple of groups and the fact that they didn't really put their effort in. I'm not sure if you're hoping for me to pick up your slack, but I'm not really too enthused by that. So the whole point of these activities is to help you guys start learning. And if you're not willing to do that, then I'm just wasting my time. All right? I'm not going to spoon feed you. You will need to think in this class. Yes, there. Now, one other property you guys should have noticed right off the bat is that the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. So, those two are congruent, as are these two. So, how does that help us solve the next problem?
They're equal to each other.
What's equal to each other,
You
Sarah?
said 3a plus 7 equals 4, and
Okay, and then what else?
b plus 1 equals
That's pretty simple. Knowing that the opposite sides are congruent, set up the equations. By the way, you might see a problem on your homework that you will need to use system of equations in order to solve it. I do know for a fact you will see a problem like that on the test. That test will be coming up after spring break. Okay, the next thing I want you guys to notice is that the opposite angles are congruent. You guys should be writing this down, not just staring at each other. So opposite angles are congruent. Okay, so Bree, how does that property help me to solve our example? How does this property allow me to solve the next example? Why would 75 go in for x? What do you mean? How would I write that out? There we go. Very good. Okay. So that's one property. By the way, you guys should also be filling this in on the chart that I handed out. Okay. Next thing I want to point out is that your consecutive angles are supplementary. What does that mean? Have to equal 180. So that means that my blue and my red angles here together equal 180 degrees. So how does that help me solve our example? That's what they do, so how does that help me solve the example? What equation can I set up to help me solve that? Justin?
180 minus 1.
What about that? Equals x, okay. And Justin, I'm going to modify that just a little bit. 101 plus x equals 180. Okay. So that's kind of the equation we can set up. Now, the other thing to notice, solving for y should be pretty easy. Because 101 and y are opposite angles, therefore they're equal. Okay. Guys, these properties work because this is a parallelogram. Okay, the other thing to remember is that our diagonals bisect each other. This is the one where a lot of you guys just stopped. You said, where's the E at? E is not there. You didn't listen or read the instructions. Because it told you to construct the diagonals and then plot the intersection point. Yep. Well, it's the whole point of the calculator activity there, Sean. Okay, we're supposed to get these from that as well. Alright, so we have the diagonals that bisect each other. So if I draw my two diagonals, these two are equal. and these two are equal. One thing I want you guys to know is this does not mean that the diagonals are equal to each other. Not the same concept. There you go. So your diagonals in a parallelogram are not necessarily equal to each other, but they do bisect each other. So what does that tell you in this problem over here?
4w minus 7 equals 2w plus 3. 2b plus 5 equals 3b plus.
Fix that one up.
For the angles, we would put both pairs of opposite angles so congruent.
Yes. All right, that basically, guys, that's it. That's your 4 properties for parallelograms I need you to know. Okay, that's it, really. So there's 4 properties. Opposite angles are congruent. Opposite sides are congruent. Consecutive interior angles are supplementary. Diagonals bisect each other. Those 4 things you need to remember for parallelograms.
Same
Yeah. All parallel.
Go back and say what's going on.
Diagonals bisect each other.
Your words aren't the same as they are on the paper.
I know, so relate them. You have to read through and think, Thomas. Consecutive angles are supplementary. Opposite angles are congruent. And opposite sides are congruent. And of course, if you watched the video last night, and only on opposite sides congruent, they are also what? Parallel. That's how we get the concept of a parallelogram. Alright, it's a quadrilateral that has 2 pairs of parallel sides. And that's it. That's it, we're done. All I'm expecting you guys to be able to do is take these 4 properties and apply them. That's it.
Wait, keep it on this page. Don't fix it.